record and then okay. So the last time these are the markets we talked about: EU, UJ, NU, and EA. So I'm quickly going to run through them and see what has happened so far since the last time we did something on them. So Euro USD EA, this is what we have. Nothing much has happened. Nothing much has happened so far from the weekend. This is all we got. This is all we got. So this has been very slow. However, we have some little profit. Some very little profit on that. It's been very slow, but this is what we have, about 50 pips. About 50 pips so far on that. We have some room for price to go. We have some little more room to the downside. So EU still on the way, but it's gonna take some time to move. And the next one also is USD JPY UJ. And from UJ, what do we have? So this is UJ, and from what we have here, price is giving us some shots. We talked about this entry level from the weekend, and price has respected that level. You would remember this high. Price was right here from the weekend, at this very place from the weekend. And right now, all price has simply done a market pattern. We have a very ugly double top. This is a double top because this second high has not been broken. It was never broken. Price held this high, and then we have this double top, which is playing out. So price has done some bearish move. Let's see how many pips from this high all the way to this low. We have about 70 pips. About 70 pips on that little move. So this as well is giving us some bearish movement. So definitely the trade is in profit. If you had entry anywhere at this high, you'll definitely be in some profit. So that is UJ. We have some more room to go, but this is what we have for now. So technically everything on the UJ is going fine, is going well. Nothing so strange on UJ. And the next one we also talked about is NZD USD, and NU. What do we have? Let's see. So this is NU. This is one of the trades that really played out. So from the weekend, we talked about this from this high. Price was somewhere around this high, and we have a retest to the previous high. Price was retesting that previous high, and from that point, we got a very good shot. And the TP levels, we had the first TP here and the second TP somewhere right here. So TP1 here has been hit. We have TP1 has been tested on that NZD USD, which is about 80 pips. About 80 pips, and TP2 is all the way down here. Price is yet to test. Price is yet to test TP2. So price gave us a very good move. This whole move here is about 100 pips. From this entry level all the way down, very good trade, minimal drawdown. We have very little drawdown in this market. So if you had entries anywhere around this high, you definitely would be in some good profits on NZD USD. TP1 has been tested, and price is yet to test TP2. So NU, that is what has happened so far since the weekend. And the last one I also talked about is EA, and that is a trade you made mention of, you talked about, you asked me to look into. And very good trade, as I said. And from the weekend, you can see price respected our entry level. This black line was the same black line I drew on the session the last time we talked about this. So price respected that low, and we had very good entry level, which is down here. From the weekend before price opened for the week, I believe price was somewhere around here. Yeah, price was somewhere around this level here. So we had a very good place to take this entry, to take this trade right from the weekend, and then price respected that low and went all the way bullish. So very good trade on this one as well. So here, this is what we have. We can see price has tested our first TP. Our TP is right here, and price has tested our TP right there. So very good trade straight to the TP. So we have about 200 pips in that trade, about 200 pips on that move. And the first thing you would realize, price did something interesting. Price tested this level here before it continued to the second one. So if you had your entry somewhere around here, if this was your entry here, price came up for this first level, came back down, and then went all the way bullish. So this could be your TP1 here, and this here could be your TP2. So however, you have very good gains, you have very good profits from any of these two places. TP1 here is about 100 pips, TP2 here about 200 pips. So very good trade on those two, very good trades. So here we have that 200 pips, and then NZD USD we have that 100 pips drop from this high. So UJ here is yet to fully play out. I see price going even more bearish. So we just need to be patient on this. If you have trades or anything on this one, you may need to be very patient and be sure you are risk-free at this time. And the next one also, EU is yet to play out. It's been very slow, but we have some more room. There is more room for price to go. Remember, we have the first TP somewhere around here. That was the second TP, the first TP, and the second TP is right here. So we have about 50 pips until price test the first TP. So it's going to take some patience for that to happen. So as we proceed into the new week, we have let's see what trades we have. We should look at towards the midweek. So EU and UJ, we can't do anything on those two. We cannot do anything on them for now. So let's look at USD/CAD. What do we have? Okay, this does not look so good. So let's keep this. Let's look at UC. What do we have on USD/CHF? Okay, this one here, I think we have there's some potential on this one. So I'm just going to write it somewhere. So the first one, USD CHF, and followed by, what do we have again? I need to see some potentials. We have some potentials. Okay, I think there is some potentials on this AUD USD. And what else do we have? UJ, what are we doing? Let's see, UJ. Okay, we have that in on GJ. Okay, and you? No. AJ, do we have anything on AJ? No, not so good. Okay, I think for now I'm just going to look at these three. So these are the three opportunities I would like to look at towards this midweek. USD CHF, AUD USD, and Euro AUD. So these ones here, I believe there are some potentials on these ones. So let's go and understand what they are doing and then see how to approach them. So the first one here I have is USD CHF. So you would remember from the last session I talked about, this has been on a counter trend, right? On a CTT move, we had a price was doing something like this. You would remember I mentioned something like this. We have something like this going on, and then price created a new low, and price is giving us some correction. So based on this correction, we should be looking forward to some kind of continuations. We should be looking forward to some kind of continuations, and on these continuation moves, what levels are being tested? So let's look out for a possible trend line. Do we have a good trend line being tested? Yes, we have a trend line being tested. Let's see from here. Likewise, here as well, we have a good trend line being tested. So let me maintain that one. So we have a trend line being tested, and let's look out for a zone. Do we have a zone? Yes, we have a zone somewhere around here. So this is definitely at a point of interest. This is at a point of interest. So the next thing I would like to see is some extra confirmation. Let me run my fibs and see what ratio I believe I should have. Some 618 or 50. Yes, I have 618 being tested. Remember, 618 is a very good ratio for continuation moves. 618 simply tells you you have a good correction in play. So when price gives you a good correction, it tells you you stand a chance to get a good continuation. A good correction gives you a chance for a good continuation moves. So right now we have a good correction. We have the 618 being tested. We have some rejections already, and we have good levels being tested. Good levels being tested. We have this previous low being tested. Likewise, we have this very good trend line being tested. Definitely, this is one to keep an eye on. We need to watch out for this. And do not forget also on this market, we have two possible entry levels. The second one is right here. So this simply tells you on this bearish trend, on this downtrend, there are two possible levels you could get short. So when you have cases whereby there are two entry levels, it tells you you should apply good risk management, because there is possibility that price could break this level and continue bullish. So the most important thing to know is at any of these two places, there is a chance that we are going to get some short. So this is the first one right here, which is being tested. And for as long as this high does not get broken, we are looking for short. We are looking for short. Very good trend line is being tested, 618 fibs, very good level as well. So this has it has all the quality for a very good drop, and we are going to watch out and see what happens in that case. So this definitely is our entry level. For as long as that high does not break, we have a good entry level in this case. And also remember the trend line. The trend line, we have the trend line, we have the zone. So we have very good confirmation on these markets. Very good confirmations on this market. So let's watch out and see what happens. So in this case here, our first TP in this case, the first TP I would look out for is 0.0. This is my first TP down here. Let's see how many pips. In this case, we have about 80 pips, profit potential in this case. So definitely your TP should be somewhere around 30 pips, 35 pips, you are good to go. 2 to 1, you are good to go. So this here is definitely a very, very good trade. A lot of potentials in this, so let's watch out. Let's see what happens on that level. So possible shot from that level. TP1 is down here for 80 pips. Let's look at the high time frame. What do we have on the high time frame? This is the 4-hour time frame, and on the H4 we have a very good looking reversal candle pattern. This is the 4-hour candle pattern here, which is a pin bar. We have a very good reversal candle pattern, and this candle pattern also is reacting to this previous movement here. We have a good level from the previous move. So there is a lot of potentials for sales, and now we need to watch out and see what happens on the 4-hour time frame. This has been the trend on the 4-hour time frame. Price has been doing something like this on the H4. So H4, this is what we have. So the H4 KZ is being tested. The H4, the 4-hour time frame KZ is being tested. So we have highs on that very level. The next level is right here, which also lines with the H1 level. You can see these two places line together. The 4-hour level lines perfectly with the 1-hour levels. So those two places, they are key areas on this chart. They are points of interest in this market. So let's keep our eyes open and watch out for what happens right there. So ultimately on the H1, this is our trend time frame we are using for this trade. So we are looking for shorts from this level here. If you have good entry confirmation inside of this box, you are good to go for your trade. You are good to go if you have a good entry confirmation anywhere inside of this box. You are good to go. Remember, we have the second entry level up here. So at any of those two places, we are looking to short these markets. So the next one on the list, the next one I have is AUD USD. So AU, what do we have on AU? This is very easy to understand if you have followed everything we talked about from the previous session that we had. On the H1, the trend time frame is the H1. So on the H1 here, we talked about this bullish trend. And on this bullish trend, we can see how price has been moving. So price has done something like this. Price has tested a key level. Price has tested a key level. So this simply tells us that we are looking for continuation moves. This is a bullish trend, and price is testing a key level on this bullish trend. So definitely we should expect some kind of continuation moves in this case. So we are looking at a possible longs in this case. So our first TP is definitely right here, and the second TP is to the ultimate high. So these kind of setups are very easy to understand, very easy to spot, especially when you know your trend. So the trend on the H1, we have a very good bullish trend, and we are waiting for entry. If you are able to find a very good entry, you are good to go. You are good to go in this market. There is a possibility that price could come back down to give us a double bottom before it goes bullish, and price could also give us a very good reversal candle pattern on this time frame before it continues bullish. So if you are able to find a very good entry price, you are good to go. For as long as this low here does not break, this trade remains a very, very good trade. So this is one of the very simple setup. If you are trading, you should watch out for this. If you find a good entry, you are good to go. TP1 is about 70 pips, and TP2 is about 120 pips. So AU, very easy to understand. We have a bullish trend. Let me go on the M30. The M30, this is what we have. I believe this looks a lot better on the M30. The M30, this is what we have. You can see a lot cleaner. This is what price is doing. So price came down to retest this ultimate low. So the ultimate low was tested, and then price is about to go to the high one more time. And when you look inside of this, you would notice something like this little trend that is forming right there, right? So price in this case is giving us some possibility for correction. So all we are going to do is we are waiting for a good entry price to get back into this move. If you find a good entry price, for as long as that low does not break, for as long as this zone does not break to the downside, this remains a very good trade. So hey, this is really how I'm looking at AU. It takes patience. If you find a good entry, you are good to go. And your good entry should be somewhere around here. And then where around this box, this low, is a very good place to find an entry, which is why I said there is possibility for a double bottom. If this happens, we have a good place to get into that trade. And if that does not happen, and you are able to find a better price with a good stop loss, you are good to go. So the last one for this midweek moves is EA. And unfortunately, this looks like it's about taking off. Looks like it's about taking off. But you would remember what we discussed from the weekend on EA. This has been a very good move. You remember the downtrend I talked about? I talked about this downtrend. So price has been respecting those moves. We had a new low created, and then price gave us a correction to begin the week. But on the 1 hour time frame, we have something even clearer. On the H1 here, what we see here is price tested a very important level here. Remember, on the H1, we have a downtrend. So on this downtrend on the H1, price is doing something like this, right? We have something like this on the H1 downtrend, and price gave us a very good correction. We have this correction which happened, and right after that correction, we have some rejection right there. We have some rejections right there. So from that rejection, price is giving us some continuation back down. And like I drew earlier, I did something like this. I did something like this, price doing something like this. So this also gives us a good confirmation that price is coming back down. And in this case, we have our first TP right here. We have the second TP down here. So TP1, TP2, this is what we are looking at. The TP1 lines perfectly with this level, and the TP2 lines with the ultimate low down here. So there is a lot of confirmation right there. We have the H1 moves, the H1 confirmation right here from this zone. And we have these little entity moves also. So for how we know here, price has created a new high. And from this new high, which lines with the H1 key level, we are looking for some correction. So this is already taken off, and we are just hoping that price gives us a very good price to get back into this move. So I believe in the next couple of hours, we are going to get some kind of, we are most likely going to see some kind of corrections. So if we get some corrections in this case, there is a good chance that price is going to give us that shot. And we have a good profits potential in this case as well. From this current price to this low, we have about 100 pips. And to TP2 down here, we have about 200 pips. So this has a very good profit potential. And the most important thing here is we get a good entry price and also apply good risk management. So this very trade, for as long as this level does not break, this remains a very good trade for as long as this zone here does not break. So let's watch out. Let's see what happens. If you find a good entry price, we are good to go. We are good to go. Let me quickly look at the M30. What do we have on the M30? The M30 chart, this is what we have. And like I did earlier, it's very easy to understand. Price did this, this is really how price is moving. Price created a new high, and from this new high, price is rejecting from that high. Remember, this high lines perfectly with the H1 level, So we have rejections right to the H1 key level. So this would have been a very good place for us to get into the shorts. However, there is possibility that price will give us some pullback right here, back into this high before we get some shorts. So if we get that, we have a good place to get into this trade. And the first TP is right here. This is our first TP, and this is our second TP. So this is very easy to understand. TP1 is right here, and TP2 is down here. TP2 is down here. So I'm going to look at the M15 also. I believe we have something interesting right here. Let me just do something like this and go on the M15. What do we have? Okay, let's look at the M5. So the M5, this is what we have. And on the M5, we have something really interesting. Look at this on the M5. We have something like this. So this here is giving us an opportunity for a possible HNS, which means if price comes back to this high, you are going for short. So this tells you you have a good projection for your entry right here. So this place here would be a very good place to take your entry. If price comes back to this high and confirms this HNS pattern, this would be a very good place to go short in this market. This would be a very good place to go short in this market. If price respects this low, this is a key level looking at the M5. This low here is a very good key level. So if price respects this low and goes back to this high one more time, and we get some confirmations on the M5, that is everything we need to pick this entry. So this is a good place to pick your entry. And the second good place to pick your entry is this high. So at any of these two places on the M5, if you find rejection patterns, reversal candles, you are good to go for your entry. These are key levels on the M5 to use to pick your entries, to get better entry prices. So you can mark out these levels on your chart, and you simply wait for price to come inside of these levels, and you take your trade. Very simple as that. And remember, once you take your trade, we are looking at the H1 levels for the TP. Our TP is right here. Like I said, TP1 is here for 100 pips. TP2 is down here for 200 pips. Very easy to understand. So that is really how the moves I'm looking at for the midweek. For the midweek, right? For Wednesday, Thursday, these three opportunities, they have some good potentials on them. So let's keep our eyes open and let's see what happens on them. EA, AU, USD, CHF. These three, I'm going to be taking trades on most of these three. If not all, I think about two of them. If I find a good confirmation for my entry, I'll be taking trades on them, and then let's see how that goes. So that is really everything I have on my watch list towards the middle of the week. If you have any questions, any addition, you may let me know. And the USD, we had about 800 pips. 800 pips profits on that. And the EA, we have about 200 pips on the EA. And UJ, we have about 50 pips in profit. And EU is yet to play out. So these are the moves from the last weekend session, and these are the moves for the midweek, and let's see how they play out. Okay, so that'll be everything on this session. The recording will be up in the group shortly. And let's keep an eye on those levels I've just talked about, and let's see how the market react to them. And if you find entry at any of those key levels we've talked about, be sure to update in the group as well if you can. And that'll be all for now. Then we'll be back again some other time. Bye.